projects doesn't happen in isolated environments. So a project uh, is surrounded by various factors. First thing is we have to look at the external environment. External environment comprises of two factors here. One is the enterprise environmental factors and external stakeholders. Now, if you're doing a project in a particular country, we need to look at the climatic conditions. We need to look at the political stability of that region. We need to look at the material availability. We need to look at the resource availability, labor costs, the national holidays, the standards, the statutory standards to be followed there, all these things, and the cultural aspects, national holidays, all these things are part of the external enterprise environmental factors. So before getting into a project, we need to analyze uh, these things. And then we have, and then we have, 1 minute. Yeah, so we were talking about the enterprise environmental factors. Then comes the external stakeholders, like the government agencies, the suppliers, the sponsors, uh, except the general public. All these things can be examples of external stakeholders. So both external stakeholders and enterprise environmental factors, they constitute the external environment of the project. Then we have internal environment. We see now organizations have vision and the mission, and projects are supporting their vision and mission. So we must be aware of the vision and mission of the organization and organizational process assets. So these are the reusable components, proprietary things, the quality management system, the lessons learned, historical data, everything, or the tools, expertise, all these things falls into organizational process assets. And all these vision, mission, organizational process assets all contribute to the internal environment of the project. Then we have these organizational structures. Every organization structure may vary. So when we execute a project, we have different stakeholders, suppliers, sponsors, customer, the contractors, subcontractors, etc., etc., and all of them will have organizational structures. So a fair understanding of the organizational structures of the stakeholders will help us to manage the project better. So let us take a look at the different organizational structure. We have organic or symbol structure. Most of the startups will have very organic or simple structures, flat structures, because the team size is not very high. Then we have functional organization. Most of the manufacturing organization or hospitals, banks, etc., they are divided by the organization is structured around different functions. For example, a bank, it may have a credit department, it will have a deposit department, It may have the e-banking department, uh, multiple things. So organizations are divided based on their functionality. So most of the manufacturing organization, banks, education institutions, etc., will have functional organization. Then multi-divisional, an organization may have multiple divisions, and each of these divisions may have different structures. Then we have the matrix organization. Whenever the team members report to more than one person, that is an indication that it is a matrix organization. For example, a technical person may report to the project manager for project related things. At the same time, the same person may report to the CTO or the chief technology officer for the technology related aspects. So whenever we see a dual reporting, that is an indication that it is a matrix organization. So most of the product companies will have a matrix structure. And matrix itself can be classified into strong matrix, weak matrix, and balanced matrix. In a strong matrix, the project manager will have more authority than the functional manager. In a weak matrix, the project manager will have lesser authority than the functional manager. In a balanced matrix, both the project manager and the functional manager will share the same kind of authority levels. In a functional organization, the project manager has least authority levels. Whereas in a projectized organization, so the next one is the projectized organization. In a projectized organization, the project managers will have a lot of authority. So most of the construction organization are project based because the main revenue earner is the projects. So in a projectized organization, the project manager will have maximum authority levels. Whereas in a functional organization, the project manager will have least authority level. And in a matrix organization, depending on whether it is a strong matrix or a weak matrix or a balanced matrix, these authority levels will change. Then we have virtual teams working from different locations. Now this has become the norm. And then we have hybrid organizations where some departments may be functional, some departments can be matrix, some other departments can be projectized, etc. So I think this will give you a fair idea of different organization structures and the authority levels of the project managers and the functional manager. So as a project manager, an understanding of the power equations among the stakeholders will help us to manage projects better. Anyway, we'll be talking about stakeholder management in a separate video. The objective of this video is just to show you how a project gets executed as a system. They are not a standalone stuff. They are part of a larger system. Then we have internal stakeholders. In the internal in the internal environment, we discussed about vision, mission, organizational process assets, and organizational structures. And then internal stakeholders. One of the key internal stakeholders could be the PMO. PMO stands for Project Management Office. It is a separate entity within the organization which helps the project teams to perform better or execute projects better. There are three types of PMOs. We have the supportive PMO, we have the controlling PMO, and the directive PMO. When we say supportive PMO, their primary objective, they're more focused about providing the tools, templates, etc. They just support the projects. They don't have a lot of authority level. Then we have controlling PMOs. The controlling PMOs have the authority to audit the projects. So controlling PMOs are more powerful than the supportive PMOs. Then we have directive PMOs. That is a superpower PMO. All the project managers will be reporting into the PMO, and the PMO will decide, will allocate project managers to the projects. That is a directive PMO. So depending on the nature of the PMO can be high power, low power, medium power, etc. Then a system for value delivery. You are talking about a project, and we already discussed in the previous lessons. Projects can be predictive styles, agile, and hybrid styles, are managed by project managers. And for ease of management, sometimes we break the project into sub-projects. And projects are considered as successful if they have completed on time, within budget, met the scope, and delivered the intended value for which the project was started initially. And very often the project can be part of a larger program. A program is a collection of interrelated projects, which when done together gives us more value than doing them one after the other. So programs are generally managed by program managers, and the programs sometimes, that gets divided into sub-programs, and sub-programs are comprises of projects. In our city, in my city, we had traffic congestions, and we have a program to reduce or eliminate the traffic congestions. And that program has multiple projects happening, like the metro rail, the water metro, better roads, flyovers, better education on how to use the roads, water transport. All these are different projects. But when all these things are done together, it will achieve the purpose of removal of traffic congestion in the city. Then we have a portfolio. So organizations have business goals to accomplish, and they have limited funds. So we have to select the right projects and programs which will support the organizational business strategy. So we have to choose the best projects which support the organization strategy for growth. And it is not a one-time stuff. We may have a great portfolio of projects and programs which supports the business strategy, and suddenly a war breaks out. The entire strategy need to be reworked. So some of the projects we may have to kill, and some new projects we have to start. Now it is AI time. Many large organizations are reprioritizing their portfolios, which results in job losses, etc. So organizational goals are there, and they have strategies to meet these goals. And we have the portfolios which support the organization strategy. Portfolios are managed by portfolio managers, and portfolio contains projects, programs, sub-projects, etc. Projects are managed by project managers, And if that project is part of a program, that project manager will report to the program manager. And the program managers in turn will report to the portfolio managers as well. Now, let us take a look at the operations. Operations are ongoing in nature. They produce standard output. So most of the manufacturing organizations are operations, shift after shift. They produce the same model of the car again and again. Then it becomes an operation. Whereas designing a new model of a car is a project. Whereas manufacturing that car shift after shift, that becomes an operation. Or constructing a factory is a project, whereas running the factory is an operation. So very often what happens is we have to execute the project, we have to transfer the product of the project to the operations team. So projects coexist with the operations team as well. I think this will give you a view of project management as a system. A project is not a standalone stuff. It has to exist within this environment, and we have to manage the environment. We have to manage the stakeholders. Then only the project can be successful. Hence, we say that we call it as a systems approach. A system has multiple components, and when all these components work in a synchronized fashion, the project delivers value. Thank you. Thank you very much.